welcome, and let me introduce you to Toby Young. He's the author of How to Lose Friends and Alienate People. He was a contributing editor at Vanity Fair, came over here from England, and I guess alienated a few people.
That's right, yeah. I once did a story, a humour piece, in which I went undercover and had a consultation with a penis enlargement surgeon and strung him along. But then at the end of the consultation, he said, "Okay," he was Italian. He said, "Let's have a look at your little man." And I thought, oh, well, now the game is clearly going to be up, you know, and I unfurled the python, and he looked at it for a bit, he stretched it this way and that, and said, "Yes, Mr. Young, I think I can help you."
Yes, that self-deprecating, celebrity-obsessed journalist Toby Young is back in New York. He first came to this city for a one-month tryout at Vanity Fair magazine. Toby somehow managed to cling on for 3 years, although he nearly got fired every single day. His book about his failures became a bestseller, and the film version's currently shooting here in Manhattan, and that's why Toby's hanging around.
The reason I've actually booked myself this hotel suite is because later today they're actually filming a scene on the roof deck. I'm hoping to go up there a little later and have a little nose around, which might be slightly problematic because I've heard a rumour that I've been banned from the set. But actually I don't think that's true.
He is banned from the set, so...
I mean, you can't trust Toby as far as you can throw him, really. Because he's always going to put his foot in his mouth.
He doesn't really understand proper movie set protocol, that you don't bother the actors and you don't give people notes.
I love Toby. I really like him a lot. I think he's a really great character, and I think it's great that people like him still exist.
People who knew Toby would always say to me, "How are you going to make Toby Young sympathetic in a movie that people are going to be sitting and watching for 2 hours?" And my answer was a 2-word answer. I'd just say Simon Pegg.
This is Sidney Young.
The only thing I'm good at is pissing people off. Everybody hates me.
Today, Toby's agreed to bring the film to life by taking us on his Manhattan failure tour.
So this is the famous 350 Madison Avenue, which used to be the global HQ of Condé Nast, the magazine publishing company that publishes Vogue, GQ, House and Garden, and of course, Vanity Fair. Now, should we go in and see what's become of it? This was the lift I used to get every day. This is the one that took me up to the 4th floor, which is where the Vanity Fair offices were. And Vogue was on 10, which was great because it meant you always had to share the lift with these beautiful girls. The rule in the lobby here was that if Anna Wintour, the editor-in-chief of Vogue, was standing in front of you and a lift came, you had to wait for her to get into the lift and for the lift to go and get the next one, because she didn't like sharing the lift with anybody else, particularly not young English men. Okay. How fitting. This used to be the glamorous entranceway to Vanity Fair, and there was this huge red letters, it said Vanity Fair, and now it says BT. It has completely changed. The reception desk used to be on this side before.
Uh-oh, Toby's been rumbled.
You walk past security.
Security are onto him, and he's being shown the door pretty sharply.
Just like these times. Thank you.
Many of Toby's stories involve him being ejected from nightclubs and parties. At this one, he didn't even make it past the doorman.
So, shortly after I arrived in New York, I did this photo shoot for Vanity Fair with these 2 supermodels. At the end of the photo shoot, I chanced my arm, invited them to Hogs and Heifers. But by the time we got here, there was this incredibly long line snaking around the block, and the girls were reluctant to stand in line, you know, being supermodels. They said, "Toby, isn't there anything you can do?" So I said, "Yeah, leave it to me." And I went up to the bouncer. I mean, this could have even been the guy. I said, "I'm on the list." And he gave me a really quizzical look, because clearly there's no list at Hogs and Heifers. I mean, it's a very democratic door policy. And then I said under my breath, "I know there's not a list, but I'm with 2 supermodels." And he said, "The only list you're on is the stupid list. Back of the line."
He once managed to get into the hottest bar in town, But the Pravda barmen were not impressed after Toby's friends left him there with a credit card that didn't work. So he made a heated decision.
I just thought, they're being really unreasonable. I'm just going to do a runner. So I grabbed my card off the bar and made a dash for the exit. So I got to about here when the bouncers caught up with me, and there were 3 of them. They knocked me to the ground and started kicking and punching me. And then this police car came roaring up. Woo! I got bundled into the back of the police car, and I said, "Thank you, officer. You've saved my life. Arrest those men." At which point he turned around and said, "Shut the hell up, you mook. You're under arrest, okay?" And I was so angry about the way I'd been treated that I decided to leak the story to a local gossip column. The clipboard Nazis have replaced their clipboards with nightsticks. And that turned out to be a colossal own goal, because Graydon Carter, the editor-in-chief of Vanity Fair, read the story and decided it created such a bad impression that he was going to take me off the magazine's masthead. And that really was the beginning of the end.
But Toby got the last laugh when he turned the story of his failures and sacking from Vanity Fair into a best-selling book. And he's determined not to let an opportunity to revel in that success pass him by. Dogged as ever, he manages to infiltrate the film set. And he spotted Kirsten Dunst, who's playing his love interest.
The first time I saw Kirsten on set, I went up to her and I said, I thought, I'll break the ice. I said, "So have you fallen in love with me yet?" Meaning, has your character fallen in love with the character that Simon's playing? But she didn't get it, and she just looked really frightened, as though there'd been a security breach and some demented stalker had somehow got onto the set and was bothering her. In real life, my courtship with my wife was a very protracted, torturous affair. Basically, I had to stalk her for 5 years. A film that portrayed that accurately would be more of a dark psychological thriller, whereas this is a romantic comedy. One of the ways in which Simon behaves completely inappropriately at this glamorous party is by eating the canapes really voraciously. And you're just not meant to eat at these New York parties. The food is purely decorative.
The day ends like so many other Toby days.
We do have to lose you, yeah.
Apparently, I really am banned from the set.
Sorry.
But before he's kicked out of the Big Apple, he is allowed to visit Simon Pegg in his Winnebago.
You're almost universally adored, particularly within the industry. Has it been kind of almost like a holiday for you to play someone who's almost universally loathed?
No, it's been fun. It's been great playing it has been really good playing a character who just doesn't care about, how he's perceived in a way.
It's not that I don't care, it's just that I don't care about the impression I make on 99% of people.
Right.
There's a tiny minority who I'm very keen to impress. So it's totally ego-driven.
Yes.
But it seems perhaps kind of less obviously ego-driven because I don't appear to care when it comes to most people. I'm just a complete snob about who I'm trying to impress.
Right.
Whereas, you taxi drivers, doormen, you don't care. You're totally indiscriminate. You want everyone to love you.
Absolutely. I know, it's terrible. It's incredibly needy. It's a classic British character, actually, in that it's the person that he continually disappoints, but you want him to do well. It's Basil Fawlty, it's David Brent, it's Captain Mannering, it's the sort of the lovable loser kind of guy. I've never played a character whereby the knives are so out already before it's even been seen, It's like, I'm sure there are people out there who are like, I can't believe Toby Young is having a film made of his life. Do you know what I mean? Is there an element where you're thinking, I really am the lord of all this and I should be able to say things?
That's exactly it. Yeah. I feel I should be the guy out there with a megaphone.
Yeah.
Doing the kind of Erich von Stroheim number.
Exactly.
And ordering everyone around. Like, who the hell is this Bob Whitey guy? What does he think?
Yeah.
He knows this story better than me. I lived it.
Exactly.
But, of course, if I was the guy with a megaphone, there'd be no one in the room.